Why do you have a record deck there?
Just listen to records.
But you got this.
Yeah, but
This goes back to how.
so this is the thing. This is a perfect example of what we're talking about here. Is like I've got some records down there.
Okay.
I love to sit there and listen to a record. I love all the vinyl crackles. I love all the differences that a record can give me, and I'll listen to that record. And it's also a fact of
Nostalgia.
That as well. But also as well is like I've got one of 100 records or something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't get that with a digital download or a stream. I don't have any sort of connection to it.
I get that. However, when I moved house, about 4.5 years ago, something like that, I threw in the skip, right? Maybe 2,000 CDs. Do you remember my old studio when I had them all?
Yeah. I was actually going to slap you then if you said vinyl.
I did vinyl. No, I did. About 500 vinyls. I swear. I really did.
I was helping you move. Why?
Because I hate clutter. And wait for it. It gets worse.
Goodness,
right? Me. A lot of those vinyls and a lot of those CDs were my own records. And I'm talking about big hits, like big top 10 hits that I've had, because they used to release on vinyl as well, because a lot of them were crossover dance hits. Quite rare as well. I threw them all away. I had a Beatles record, I think, with the Beatles or something like that, mono. Like I just threw everything away, right? And it gets worse than this. It gets worse. I got a whole pile of... do you remember in the olden days when you'd video with a camcorder and you'd have the little physical cassettes? So I saw about 100 of those and I threw them in the skip. And then Shira, my wife, she went, where are the... Because it turned out I've thrown away all the wedding and all her childhood and her brothers, videos, birthday parties, everything, parents, grandparents. She went ballistic.
If there's one person you don't want to annoy and make mad, it's your wife.
Oh God! Listen to this. She made me go with her to the skip, and I had to climb into the skip. I climbed into the skip. There's all glass in there. Everything. They went mental at the skip. Right? 'Cause you're not meant to do that.
No.
I climbed in. Right, and I'm getting it. Some of the tapes, not all of them. I'm retrieving some of them, like getting them out. And then I realised when I've come out, I've missed some. So Shira had to sort of climb on the edge, and I held her by her legs so she didn't fall in, and she was getting them. She didn't speak to me for like about 2 weeks.
I don't blame her.
Bad.
I honestly, I'm so disappointed you threw away vinyl.
I did.
Right. So anyway, that's a prime example. Just I will sit and listen to vinyl, and I'll sit here and I'll not necessarily work, but I'll be on the laptop or whatever, and I'll be on the computer doing some admin or something like that, and I'll have a vinyl.
But would you like the crackles?
No, it's not the crackles in particular. It's just.
Is it the sound?
No, not even the sound. Because arguably, I can play music out of this whole system rather than playing it out of these two.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what it is.
But I do understand. It's like nostalgia. I tell you what it's like. I tell you what it's like. I used to love CB radio back in the day. Did you ever have that?
I didn't. I'm a little bit younger than you.
Okay. I loved it. And now you can get the same on your phone. You can get like an app. It's rubbish. Like it was the whole beauty. So I get it. I do get it.
A good example of this sort of digital aspect ruining a really nice analog thing. Two examples. Record shopping. I used to love record shopping.
And me. Yeah.
I used to love just going for the whole day. I used to travel down to Brighton sometimes and just spend the whole day record shopping in Brighton. Brighton was brilliant for record shopping.
Yeah.
And it was almost part of the whole experience of buying records. And then you'd sit on the train, and I'd sit on the train looking at the grooves and counting the bar structures, things like that. So
you've got a psychological
there was
issue.
Well,
I mean, why would you do that?
No, because I guarantee you there's people who count the bar structure and read the bar structure of a vinyl.
Okay.
I used to do that. So
I'll give you the number of my psychotherapist.
You got them? Yeah?
No, I didn't.
So those sorts of things. It's the whole experience of the going out record shopping.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with, like, remember Blockbuster? You'd go to Blockbuster and you'd get a video out and you'd go there and you'd choose something, and then you'd have that for the weekend, and you'd maybe watch it twice over the weekend or something and then take it back. But it was that whole experience of, we're going to Blockbuster, and you'd go down there, you'd pick a video, and then you'd get home and you'd all sit round and you'd watch it. You get popcorn, pop popcorn, and do all of that. It's this whole experience of everything about it, and that's lost with just going on Netflix. So I can sit there with the missus. We'll say, let's watch a film tonight, and we'll sit there and no, I don't want to watch that. No.
I get you.
But let me go on to one other thing. That's the same. All of that, right, is very similar to hardware. I have a love and a connection with all these bits of hardware. I can tell you when I bought every single piece. And, like, if I buy something that's vintage, I'll open it out, get it. I can smell a piece of gear and it'd be, yeah.
I get that with food. I get that with food.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can understand with food. But, like, sometimes, like, you know, my Michelangelo gets it cooks sometimes.
No, I get you.
And when it does, it has a lovely smell to it. So it's all these other things that heighten the senses of it's everything else. It's just cables, running cables to things, doing all these other things that. So why this is the thing? How much fun? Do you remember Reason? How much fun was routing everything in Reason? You could have done that by just going, send it to here, send it to there, but you'd pick a cable out and you'd wire it in the back of Reason, and that was really fun. I used to enjoy that, and that's very similar. It's all the little other things that are fun with all of this, and it's not just for me. It's going and getting a plug-in. It's not fun.
Okay, so there's two sides, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. So the nostalgia bit, I get 100%. So back in the day, like in the early 2000s, sounds like I'm trying to be big-headed. I'm not at all. I'm really not. Don't mean it to come across like this. But I was having hit after hit after hit, like top 10. I had 5 in a row, top 5.
You were known at one point as the king of advances.
Yeah. Oh, God. I remember the first ever time I'd earned no money for music. And then I went with my mate on the tube. I went with him to a publisher and came out with a 20 grand check. that was.
Didn't you both come out with 20 grand check?
Yes, we did actually. So 20 grand check each, and that was for a third each of the song, right? And then the next time round, we come up with 80 grand each. That was great times. That was exciting in itself, because now. It's a very similar point. Now everything's email, and any advances are straight into your bank. But it was nice to physically get.
Imagine that, right? So imagine like we've all kind of got advances on things, or not necessarily advances. It's like, we'll pay you out the pot. Okay, when's that?
But going back to nostalgia, right? So what I was trying to say was, and I've gone off on a tangent as usual. I always do.
This is what he does. So someone said to me a little while ago when we'd done these videos. They said, you need to stop butting in to Danny. Yeah. Said to me, you need to stop butting into Danny. I said, you don't know him like I do. If I don't bring him back, it'll go off, and his brain just goes off like this, and he's off, and you'll never get him back.
I know. Me and my mate Chico, it's Chico time. Well, your mate as well. We did an online ADHD test together. We did 2, and you've got a needle, right? A bit like a compressor. Yeah, both of us were like. It almost came out of the monitor.
It doesn't surprise me one bit.
But anyway, going back to it. So when I was having these hit after hit, it was amazing, because I'd never had a hit. So I went straight into this. Wow, I would go into all the record shops. Tower Records, do you remember that at all? Are you old enough? Virgin Records, I can't even remember. And right at the front, my single would be there, like not millions, but a lot of singles, and I'd buy them myself. But I could only buy 3 at a time, because otherwise.
Why would you buy them yourself? Just
get in the charts. It wasn't crazy. I bought a few.
It didn't really make a dent.
It didn't make a dent at all, and you can't. If you buy loads, they disqualify it. It's called buying out or something like that. But I bought maybe 3 or 4, and it was a beautiful feeling, I must admit. Whereas it's different now; it just appears on iTunes and Spotify. I get that.
So going off of that, what's your feelings then towards, like, you've had plenty of songs that you've written and produced, and the difference in the feeling of putting it out and it going out on iTunes and stuff, and just kind of going out there into the world, and people hopefully streaming it and downloading it, whatever, in comparison to actually having a release like what you would have had many years ago.
Agreed. It was a million times more exciting back in the day. So number one, what they used to do back then, like major record labels, they would start hyping the record and start promoting it weeks and weeks, a minimum 6 weeks before release, minimum. Sometimes more than that, right? It could be easily 2, even 3 months. And they would hype it. They would send it to all the big DJs, Judge Jules, Pete Tong, Dave Pearce, try and get them playing it, build that record, and then they would release it on a Monday. And by the Wednesday, you'd have the midweek charts, the official charts. And by the Sunday, you'd have the charts then. And it was so exciting. And a lot of my songs were on Top of the Pops. I went to Top of the Pops and a network, was it a Pepsi chart show? That was another one. I remember at Top of the Pops, Britney Spears introduced my record as well.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite something.
It was cool. And I also remember, cool. Listen to this for a story. I was at Top of the Pops. I was with Shearer, the wife, and I because I knew that Britney was gonna be there. I had a demo of about 10 songs on a CD, on a CDR that I'd made. Yeah. And I thought, I really want to get this to what's her name, to Britney. So me and Shira, we were outside her dressing room, and she had 3 bouncers outside. Now, if I say they were big,
I bet they were big.
So I'm around 6 foot. They must have been 6'4", 6'5", at least.
Built like that.
Yeah, built like unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Massive. Yeah. Like, they would have killed me. So I said, oh, can I give this to Britney, please, my demo? Because back then, I was a very, very driven person. I'm not saying I'm not now, but I'm more chilled now. I'm more later. Yeah. But back then, I was very, not annoyingly, I hope, but I was very driven, and I think that's how I achieved a lot of stuff. That's another conversation, maybe. So anyway, one of them kept saying, "Step away from Britney's." They were American. "Step away from Britney's dressing room." That sounded Irish, not a farmer. So I'm like, "Please, can I just give this to her?" And he's like, "Step away from Britney's dressing room."
That's better.
A bit better. So anyway, I kept going back. I was like a little, like they're holding your head and you're trying to, right? So I wouldn't take no for an answer. I said, "Can I slide it underneath her door at least with a note or something like that?" So in the end, they chucked me out. Me and Shira, they chucked us both out off Top of the Pops, and our song wasn't even on there yet. So we walked out, but then we just walked back in again. So it was fine, luckily. But why am I talking about Britney Spears? The excitement. Yeah. So it was
like previously when a release would go out.
It
in
was
comparison to now.
So exciting. It the best times of my life. I think one of the best times of my life ever as well was, I was getting ready to go out. It was a Friday night. It was about 7 o'clock, and I know this for a fact. I'm just getting ready to go out. I can't remember where, with my mates or whatever. And a song came on the radio, and I thought, I love this. And I sort of recognised it. I thought, I really love this. And then it clicks about 5 seconds later. It was mine.
I was going to say.
It was a song called Drifting Away. And it was such a good feeling. And I was listening to it in my bedroom on my, do you remember the stacked hi-fi things?
I had a Technics stack.
Yeah.
I had an Alba one first, and then I got a Technics one that my uncle, he had it. He was well into his tech. Yeah. And all that sort of stuff, and he was basically getting a new one, gave me that one.
Wow.
And it was a really nice Technics stack. And I now, like, the problem was, he's like, it had records, it had tape decks, but what basically happened, I remember it like it was yesterday. I got one of these ones for my birthday or Christmas, which had a CD and it rotary one, and it was like, well, I don't need that Technics one anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know how I think about it probably about once a month? I think about that Technics stack.
Really?
And I think why? If I'd have loved that. Now I've got a Technics 1210 Mark II there.
Yeah.
I'd have loved that stack sitting next to it.
I loved mine. I had a Sony one, very expensive Sony. I actually gave it to my mate Kenny Thomas, the singer. I gave it to him and some speakers and stands and stuff and a little. I don't regret it because my mate, but yeah, it was nice. It was lovely. Had that feeling. Holding a CD or a vinyl in your hand.
Well, here's the other thing with regards to like that sort of thing, a CD.
Yeah.
When you get a CD, I don't know about you, but like you can get a CD. Like I used to do this when I was younger, and I'd get a CD. You'd get a CD, take it out, you put the CD on, you start listening to it. You'd rarely skip that CD. You'd listen all the way through.
Yeah.
Whilst listening to it, you pull the pamphlet out, and you've got the.
Yeah. I'd always read that. Yeah.
That all that's gone.
There is a however. Although I like to say however. It's however day. Yes, I get that. We're on the same page with regards to that, and also we're on the same page as far as any Tom, Dick, and Harry can release a song in 5 minutes.
AI as well nowadays.
Yeah, so that's another story. That's another conversation. But anyone can release their record, and it will go on every single platform, from Spotify to Apple Music to Tidal, etc. And it will cost them about 10 quid, right? And so everyone's a record label suddenly, and everyone's a producer because they've all got their little laptops. I get that. It's taken the excitement out of everything. Back in the day, to record properly, I had to go to a studio like this. Obviously, it wasn't like this. It was just pure analog, no recall. You'd have to pay about £1,000 a day, or a record label would have to. You then had to get a really good major record deal. That wasn't easy at all. So yeah, the excitement was a night and day difference, absolutely. But the convenience now is a different story altogether. Because now, like you say, going back to blockbusters versus watching a movie, pressing one button, it's there. It's the comfort. It's there. You can listen to anything of very good quality in Atmos as well. Let's say, just by saying it, talking to Alexa or whoever. Now, so you could argue, oh yeah, it was more fun back in the day, and yes, it was. But then it's a bit like arguing that back in the day, when you went to the toilet, there was no flushing system, so you'd have to get a bucket and somehow like do it manually.
But I don't think anybody.
You don't want that.
I don't think anybody enjoyed doing that back in the day. That's
a bad example. Then I'll give you another example.
An example would be a car driving a manual car or driving a self-driven car.
Oh, that's going very far. Self-driven. That's like saying AI. We're not talking about that.
Well, even go to one extreme from one extreme to the other. A manual car being more fun. That's exciting. That's like getting into a sports car that's a manual, or getting into a sports car that's even electric. Yeah,
I understand that. I again, the nostalgia of that. But when I drive, I like to eat and drive at the same time, and so I can't be here like changing gears and all that kind of stuff. So that the beauty of electric, I've got a hybrid car, so it's silent, literally. Like I wouldn't go back. I would never go back to a manual. But my left foot like, above the clutch, ready to. I wouldn't go back. But I understand.
See, for me, right, in that scenario, I'm talking about cars. Like I've got a nice manual sports car, right? So lovely. I love driving it. Really fast, handles like a dream, everything like that. 0 to 60 in, I think it's like under 5 seconds, right? Really fast. Now I've got a mate who's got an electric car, and we were comparing the cars, for instance, and he's got just a normal car. It's an electric, and it does 0 to 60 in just under 5 seconds. It was like, right, the 0 to 60 on both of these cars is almost identical. And he was in my car at one point, I was in his car at one point, and we were kind of talking about this. And we both agreed that when you put your foot down and went 0 to 60 in the electric car, it was like a roller coaster. So it was like that really kind of, whoa, like that sort of thing. Whereas in my sports car, 0 to 60 was smooth, and it was just like this, and the engine went, and we both said they both achieved the same or similar goal, but the way it got there was so much more enjoyable in my car.
Yeah, I get that. But then this reminds me as well. When I first started getting studio equipment together in my bedroom, actually, I remember spending over $6,000, right, on an E4 sampler with memory, like all the memory in it. I can't remember how much the RAM. It was ridiculously low, but back in the day.
Answer me this one question quick. How much did you sell it for?
£100. That's a horrible story. I don't.
We could do finish. What
that gives me PTSD.
Oh god.
Oh, you made me depressed now. I'm so happy. Shall I tell you the story quickly?
Go on. Remember to go back to where you were.
Yeah, I'll go back. So I paid over $6,000 for this sampler, and bottom line, I'll make it fast. Years later, I got I think Cubase, and I think there was a Halion sampler, and I thought, I'll just use that. I don't need the E4 anymore. I stick it on eBay, starting at £100, thinking, it's going to go up and up and up and up and up. Totally forgot I put it on eBay. A week later, a guy rings my doorbell because the address is on there because of the PayPal or something, holding £100 cash in his hand. I'm like, hi. He went, I've won your sampler. I went, what do you mean? Right, £100. Now, any normal person would have probably said, no, I'm not selling it. Because I've got morals, I guess. I don't know. I said, okay. All right. And I brought it out. It was like brand new. No one else has owned it. Smoke-free studio. Not a scratch. It was perfect. Not only that, I threw in a few for nothing. Hard drives, scuzzy hard drives and everything I had. And then I shut the door and I think I fell onto the floor. I don't know if I physically cried, but certainly inwardly. It was horrible. Anyway, going back to the that was horrible, man. What could I got for that? At least what, £2,000? At least £1,000.
It's tricky. It's tricky because this is the problem with equipment, and this is one thing you don't get with hardware. With a plugin is it holds no value.
No.
You know, once you bought that plugin, it's worthless.
And you know what makes me laugh? I bought, I can't remember what it was, but I bought a synth kind of plugin, like sample. I'll tell you what, it was TAL Sampler, TAL Sampler.
Yeah.
And I bought this, and guess what? It had all the samples from the E4, like literally. Oh, and I also gave him all my sample CDs that I'd spent a lot of money on. So yeah, it's terrible.
Well, this is the thing, right? So all this hardware, for instance, if I what
does he want? She want.
Come in. Come on. Dog.
Hello. Would it be weird if I'm suddenly holding her?
You can come up. Come on. There you go. Look at you.
Can't believe you bring your dog to the studio. So cute.
Good girl. Right.
So going back to the E4.
No. So what I was saying was so basically she's going to put us off there. Right. So basically the thing with the the thing with the gear is all of this gear. So if I wanted to shut up shop tomorrow, I could sell this entire studio, everything in it, for let's say
£100.
Yeah. Stop it. You're getting too excited.
So am I.
I could probably sell this whole studio for £200,000, let's say. Or I don't know, there's not necessarily anything that's vintage and gone up in price, but I could probably easily sell it for £200,000. Now, if you spent £400,000 or something on plugins, which you probably have, to be fair, what are they worth?
Yeah, nothing.
Not worth a penny, kind of thing. So that's one thing with analog that you don't get with digital is there's kind of, it does cost a lot, but you have a value that it's worth later on that you can sell it for. Like, for instance, we've got a Shadow Hills Optograph compressor, and we got that relatively cheap. Probably, I think we paid about £3 or £4 for it. We could probably sell it for more because it's one of about 15 left. And it's probably one of the only working ones.
Is that you or the dog making that noise?
The dog. Dolly, stop it.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, so going back to the sampler, it was very exciting at the time having that sampler. It was incredible. And if I had to sample anything, like even like my own voice or a singer or something like that, you got a few seconds, and it was so exciting though.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. But would I go back to that?
No.
Never.
See, there's a big difference here, right?
Yeah.
The big difference there is that technology has moved forward. Now, this is actually where we probably should have started this video. Is on the actual subject of this gear, for instance. What I've got set up in here, all digitally recallable, and as close to what it could be like working in the box with plugins. It's as close as possible to that, but with the, let's say, sonic ability of hardware. So in that sense, like I personally wouldn't have a mixing studio, for instance, that wasn't digitally recallable, because it for workflow purposes it doesn't make sense.
It would be a nightmare. It would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? Carry on, don't mind me. My dog doesn't do this.
My dog loves you.
If I tried to pick up Bruno, he'd just bite my head off. Look, my cat. Look what he did.
Oh God!
I know. So yeah, I would never ever go back. Now, but what I would say again, so
she can taste sausages on your
she
hands.
can definitely taste something.
Did you hear sausages?
Sausages, eh? Do you know I haven't eaten all day apart from a packet
we go out for some dinner
we
in a
need
bit.
to. But yeah. So I get the nostalgia, but I would never ever go back. Now, so plugins back in the day, terrible.
Yeah.
In a way, they were nostalgic in a way when Auto-Tune first came out. And
see, tools like that are brilliant
Reverb.
In the box. Like digital tools like Auto-Tune, to use an outboard Auto-Tune, stupid.
Of course.
Go in the box.
What about reverb? I'd say that's stupid.
No, so
That's just a spring reverb, maybe.
right. So I've got a reverb there.
Yeah.
That's a reverb that's down there. It's a Tegler reverb. Now that reverb, the only reason I have that, the only reason I got that, two reasons. One, it has tubes inside it. So although it's still a digital algorithm and it sounds like a digital algorithm, it's got tubes, and it does have this sort of sound that you don't get with an in the box reverb. Now I will happily concede when it comes to reverbs, like a Neve RMX16,
Or an LX.
stay in the box. Yeah.
Bob, yeah.
Stay in the box, because they're just algorithms, and they don't. I've tested this, and they don't really sound any different. They certainly don't sound any better.
Well, they weren't analog though, were they?
No,
They were just,
that's what I mean.
It's like I used to have a load of keyboards, like synths.
the virtual analog.
Yeah, but they weren't. Yeah, exactly. They were the same thing.
Yeah, like Access Virus.
Yeah, that's it. I had that as well.
Yeah, virtual analog.
Yeah.
Still have a great sound to them. Are lovely to be hands on with them. But you are right in that regards. Now, the other reason I have that reverb is because I've got aux sends on the console, so I can go into the analog domain and then apply reverb.
Okay.
Whereas if I didn't have that, I'd have to apply reverb in the digital domain.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
Which I still do. I'll add it in the digital domain anyways. But then once I come out into the analog domain, I can then add certain bits of reverb. So that's where a reverb out the box is better to have than a reverb in the box.
Yeah.
And that's only because you're out the box.
Yeah, I get that. But I forgot what I was going to say now. What was I don't know.
Stop.
But what I would say is, I would not ever go back. And to me, okay, so I get the nostalgia of analog, I absolutely do. But then once you're in your door, once you're mixing in your door, why would you go back to analog, introduce analog noise, analog hiss, and then go back into your door?
Yeah, so I get that, and I understand what you're saying there, but when it comes to using a console like this, it's a case of I'm from the box. I'm basically going right, doing any processing across any of the channels, and then I'm just sending them out to a console. They're then running into a console, and then the two bus coming back in, and that's just your mix bus coming back in.
So why go out and back in again? You'll just stay in.
because it sounds so much better.
But most of the sounds that you're mixing, let's say you're mixing, for example, EDM. For example,
they're all in the box.
They're all in the box samples anyway. So it's got to end up in the box, i.e., like a digital format for Spotify, etc. So why go out and then come back in again? And then
it sounds so much better.
Arguably, and
I would argue that all day long.
Well,
doing that every single day, I would argue that having a digital, something that is all digital and has never left the box, to come out the box either at the mixing stage or the mastering stage is massively beneficial. Turning those ones and zeros
subjective.
into of course it's subjective.
So you're an incredible engineer, absolutely. There are other incredible engineers. For example, I can think of a few, like Andrew Sheps, for example.
Works all in the box. But what you've got to bear in mind there is that sort of argument gets thrown about a lot. Yeah. Right, I hear this all the time. Yeah, but Andrew Sheps, he mixes just in the box. It's like, first of all, you ain't Andrew Sheps, right? You aren't him. So what he can do, you're not on his level. So comparing yourself to him is stupid. Secondly, what he is given. It's already been processed. It's already been out the box.
Exactly.
Right. So all what all the stuff that's how it arrives to him to then be mixed is already analog.
You're making my point.
No. Because your point is that it's staying in the box. Why come out the box?
Yeah, but my point is, I've always said before. I've said in previous videos with you. I agree that recording vocals, you should.
No, but we're not talking about recording. We're talking about the processing
that are given to him.
The stems that are given to him. Yeah. Are processed perfectly, not necessarily perfectly.
No, they're raw.
But no. So that they're ready for him to mix.
Yeah.
And then he can mix them in the box.
Correct. That's my point.
Yeah. So you're agreeing that analog processing is important if you're mixing in the box, because that's what's being done there.
I agree that analog recording vocals
we're not talking about recording.
And live instruments are better through analog, but things like kick drums and synths and all that, they're already digital. Why change it? Why come out the box?
I mean,
synths, for example, most synths are not analog. Most synths are.
But why did so by that logic and by that argument? Why do you ever bother putting Alkane onto the plugin that gives you that analog sound?
I actually don't usually do. I sometimes do. Sometimes
but why ever do that? Because you're trying to get you're trying to use Alkane to achieve what we instantly achieve in the analog domain.
Okay, sometimes I'll use Alkane. Sometimes, usually just on the 2-bus though, or in mastering. So. Yeah, sometimes I will, because I want that kind of warmth you're talking about. Yeah, I do sometimes. I don't want that saturation. But then, so what? So what if I'm using that? The listener doesn't care whether you've done something in this studio or my studio or a laptop.
Let's talk about that, because the listener doesn't care. I agree. The listener couldn't care less how it's done. Just wants to listen to the music. Couldn't care less if it's done digitally or analog. But I would say 100% emotionally they feel it, they know it. They don't know why they know it. They just go, oh, there's something about it. It's like when you listen to stuff on vinyl. It's like, oh yeah, I could sit here and kind of just mong out listening to that. Whereas I'd never get that feeling listening to something off of Spotify.
But if you had done an in the box mix, maybe using the likes of Alkane and the likes of Fusion, SSL Fusion.
Because when we were listening to these,
but I didn't use Alkane here.
No. So when you did a mix, you did a mix with plugins, and when you did a mix on the analog console, when I listened to both of them, I listened to the digital mix, and it's like, it don't buzz me. It doesn't resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. But even the analog mix was like, oh yeah. It sounds like you can hear that separation.
But if I had then gone back to that mix,
you'll never achieve it.
No, but if I'd used Alkane on the channels, I could achieve it. I believe I could.
You never will. You
All
never will.
subjective. All
Right.
subjective.
I've got a really good conversation that we can have, and we'll put this into a separate video.
Yeah.
So this is a video that I did early the other day. I posted this out, and it was basically I was talking about from a business perspective, people who want to get into mastering and want to be a mastering engineer, who just use plugins. And I was saying in this video that it's very, very difficult for people to succeed and pick up work when they're not using analog equipment, and it's really difficult to be anything, to be unique in any way. And you can have maybe a unique sound even if you use plugins, but what you can't have is you have no unique selling point. I don't think. I mean, the thing with it is if you looked at someone who was, if for argument's sake, right, here's a really good example of this. I start a business, right, as a mastering engineer. I start a new company as a mastering engineer. This is my studio, right? So I say, right, I'm a mastering engineer. I'm now going out looking for clients. Then I've got, then there's someone else who's a mastering engineer, and they have a similar room, no gear, just a table with a laptop on it. But they have nice speakers and nice room, and they might have just a controller and a MacBook.
So basically, me.
Basically, right. So for argument's sake, there's my studio, there's your studio.
Yeah.
Now we both start our businesses on the same day. Who's picking up the first 10 clients?
You are.
100%.
But you're not necessarily, and I think you're amazing, your sounds. I'm not saying anything negative in any way, but I don't think the reason you are picking up those clients is because of the end result sound. I think it's because you've got all this beautiful gear.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It sells it.
100%.
Yeah. I watched that video from the toilet.
This is why. This is why it's so. This is why it's so important, and this is why I'm saying we're starting a business on the same day, and one person's got kind of a nice studio but plugins, and the other person's got lovely analog hardware. It's very, very difficult for someone to win work, especially like if you was to advertise. We had this conversation about advertising in the same advertising space as me, and you said, is it worth me doing? And I said, look, it is worth doing, and I can testify that it is worth doing adverts. The problem you will have is you're advertising in the same advertising space as me, and unless you know the people who you're advertising to, or they know you and they like you as a person, and it's your personality that's drawing them to you, you're never, ever, ever going to win work off of me.
Yeah.
And I understand that's really hard. And I speak to lots of people about this. And this is one of the things with all the analog gear is like, if we all conceded analog and digital are bang on identical. Let's say we go forward 10 years time and plugins have got so good that they are indistinguishable and you cannot tell them apart.
We haven't got to go forward. We're there.
No, we're not. Trust me, we're
but
not.
Carry on.
I do enough analog versus digital comparisons to tell you that we aren't there yet. That we most probably will be there at some point, but we're not there right now.
Okay.
But there's let's say for instance we are there. There will be people who who are working in the box as digital engineers, and AI will come for those jobs. AI
is not there yet.
No. But AI can get there. AI can potentially get there.
Yeah.
The thing with it is AI, when it comes to mastering engineers, if you are working in the box with plugins, AI can come for your job, and it will come for your job.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, it will, 100%. It will come for those jobs. I know that there's people who work in the box who are losing out to AI. There's clients that were clients of these people who were in the box.
Mastering, maybe.
Yeah.
It's very good.
No,
mastering.
we're not talking about mixing.
Yeah.
So disregard mixing, but mastering. So say, for instance, you're an in-the-box mastering engineer and, AI, as bad as it is, and it doesn't sound great, but to someone that doesn't want to spend money, or they don't make enough money out of their releases, they kind of go, I can't justify spending X amount of money on a master engineer. They do it in the box. A prime example, the geezer who you were on the phone to earlier today.
Yes. Yeah.
Prime example.
Yeah. You get away with it.
Yeah. So he'll get away with that.
Yeah.
So the thing with that is those people, those engineers who are working in the box, AI will replace them to a certain degree. They will start losing, and they have started losing clients to AI, because whilst it's not the same end result, what is similar is the process and the tools that are being used to achieve the end result.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, well, I can just click a button and it's done instantly. So what I value, what the client might look at there is go, oh, I value the instant result of getting my master done like that by clicking a button, and now I've got my master ready to go, or I've got to send it to this guy and wait 5 days, kind of thing.
Plus, it's free once they've paid for the software.
Yeah, exactly. So then the thing with that is AI will replace these engineers over a period of time, and over a period of time, AI will get equally as good as the digital engineers in the box. Now, I don't ever see that happening with analog, because it doesn't matter if AI got the best it could ever possibly be. Let's say, for argument's sake, it was indistinguishable from analog. They both sounded amazing.
Well, then you just contradicted yourself.
No, but if they no. But what I'm saying is, if they, for argument's sake, 10 years time, AI gets the exact same sound as analog. Analog doesn't get taken over
because
analog
visually,
mastering.
No, I get
there.
It's just going back to nostalgia, though.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Is it's a case of you kind of you. For instance, we've got a unfair child compressor. We get people all the time. I want to run the track through the unfair child. I want to send it to you because I want it run through that. I want it run through the alpha compressor. I want it run through the Shadow Hills compressor. I want it run through all these specific pieces of gear. I want my song mixed on the SSL. And like something I said in that video was, no one ever booked a session with a mixing engineer and said, oh, you've got the latest version of Pro Tools.
No, but the difference between
everybody says, "Ooh, you've got the latest SSL console."
Yes, absolutely true. However, let's take you and your analog gear out the equation for now. What I have over Tom, Dick, and Harry in their bedroom is, number one. Hopefully, I've got the more skills than them and more experience. I know I have, and the ears to do that. Also, what I've got very much counts is my speakers, my monitors. Most people don't have that, and my room and my controllers. So all that put together, I've got something that most people don't have. That being said, so my son Alex, who obviously you know very well, brilliant producer, he often mixes and masters his own stuff, and in his bedroom. On a laptop, on cheap 200 quid studios, and sometimes it's a bit hit and miss, his mixers and masters, but overall he does a brilliant job.
So here's the thing,
if
I'm offering a service, I can't be hit and miss. I have to be hit.
Of course, I'm not hit and miss either. No. But I'm not relying on AI, nothing, not at all. But so what I would say is that I wouldn't. I think you kind of implied in that video that I watched from the toilet, and I had real constipation from the Manjaro, so I watched it for I watched the whole thing, and another one of yours as well. That's the truth. Is that too much info? So
just a bit. So I don't know whether to take it as a compliment.
No, it is a compliment. Okay. No, I watch your videos in the toilet while I'm eating, and I eat it all the time as well. So that's why I watch all your videos. But where was I going with this?
I don't know. I really don't know.
So you kind of implied that there's really no difference between, let's say, someone like me and someone in their bedroom because we've both got plugins. But I think there is the skills
there is.
and the studio
But
itself.
if you take that out the equation,
yeah. But you see, like for example, let's say let's say photography. So the whole nostalgic thing was film, and you go and get it developed, physical film. Now you got all digital. I don't think any photographer could, like, very, very rarely would a professional photographer use film and develop it. And I know a few.
right? So that's I agree with you there, but just to play devil's advocate there in regards to photography, let's think in terms of art. In terms of you go to an art gallery.
Yeah.
Now imagine they're all digital. Kind of just a TV screen, with the art.
But that's more an AI thing. Yeah, that's horrible. But
so that would be
Or you could argue that an art that's been done by AI. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't like things like, I think it's impressive, but things like Suno, like writing and producing songs for you in 2 seconds, I don't really resonate with that at all. And sonically, it's terrible, terrible. But
it's like you watch any of the AI videos, you can tell. The AI video, it looks really impressive.
Yeah.
The audio is horrendous.
Yeah, they haven't got there yet.
No, the audio is ridiculously bad. It's wispy and phasey and almost like it's almost like
An
it's
MP3.
lower, like 32-bit or something. No, not 32-bit, 32 kbs MP3, like really, really low quality.
And you know what it is? I think because Suno gives you stems now.
Yeah.
But what it does, I can tell, it's not giving you the original stems. It's like using like a stem splitter. And it's hot. I hate it.
Yeah. And you'll always know when it's used a stem splitter. If you look in the high end, there's always spikes.
Yeah, it's
right
horrible.
up the top.
It's horrible.
There's...
But another thing, I know you could even talk about, let's say you needed to, God forbid, have brain surgery, right?
Yeah.
And you could do it with the best, like an amazing brain surgeon who's more old school, or you could have a robot that is pinpoint accuracy, and this would take like 20 minutes as opposed to 10 hours. You're choosing the robot. Like, you're not going for... Now, it's a bit... Of course you are. So...
certain things I agree. Certain things I do agree.
It's the end result that counts. But I understand...
Yeah, but the end result... I don't think the end result, when it comes to music, the end result isn't better. See, this is the thing, right? Is when we talk about this, we always talk about digital versus analog. For me, it's digital... versus hybrid analog and digital.
Yeah, of course.
So you're kind of taking the best of both worlds here when you're working with this kind of hybrid setup and using all the good things that come with using plugins, but also using all the good things that come with analog. Like you could never ever tell me, and I know this as fact, that summing inside Pro Tools or Logic is in any way better than summing through an analog console.
No, but I'd say it's as good.
No, it's not.
I'd say it didn't used to be as good.
No.
I would say it's as good.
No, it's nowhere near as good.
It's cleaner. It's clearer. It's less noisy. Again, if you want to get that,
I'm going to have to show you something after this video. I'm going to have to show you.
Okay.
Some audio files running on the Neve.
Okay.
Because you cannot. It's impossible to say that summing in the box is comparable to summing out the box. Summing out the box is unreal in comparison.
I think it very much depends on the engineer as well. Very much.
Right. Do you know what? Let's pause this video here. Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you this.
Okay.
And then we'll come back.
Okay.
Because and then you can concede.
Okay. And then you can concede.
So yeah, I just played you some audio files of summing analog and digital, and you can't not agree.
I did prefer the summed version, but I don't know. I wasn't there because you played me an existing recording. before and after.
Well,
I don't know what the difference was.
Just trust and believe me that the only thing that the difference is one is passed through analog, one is passed through digital. Some digitally, one some analog. There's no other differences.
But then back in the day, I went from in the box to I had a Summing. Which one was it? I sold it to you.
TLA Ebony.
That was the one. And I also thought that. I thought, oh wow, it's a million times better. And then one day I thought, oh, I'll try go back in the box again, and there wasn't really.
To be fair, a TLA Ebony is not a Neve.
No,
Summing
of course.
But here's the thing: is when it comes to that sort of thing, is a cheaper summing mixer. I would concede. I'd much rather be in the box than using a cheap summing mixer.
I'll tell you what I'll say. Right. Okay. So your Neve versus in the box, you're sure the Neve's going to be better, but your Neve versus in the box with the correct plugins. Not the correct plugins, but certain plugins. Yeah, but
there's no plugins being applied. There's all you're doing with that Neve, for instance.
But you can achieve the same with plugins. That's what I'm saying. So it's like saying this. It's like saying
you can't though.
No, you can.
You can't.
It's like saying this. Right? I tell you what it's like saying.
Because if you could, you would, and you can't.
It's subjective.
Yeah, but you can't physically. There's
you
no.
Can. You can, because you want things wider, for example. So that had a width.
No. So it's not about wider
separation.
But what you're thinking of there with regards to wider is just going width, going wider. What a summing mixer is, it's the separation between all the elements. That's what really works.
So
really well.
You use plugins like Pure Unmask
No. See, right, here's a prime example of all of this, right? Is you're saying to me, oh yeah, I could do this and I could do that and I could put this on and that on and I could try this and I could try this and that and whatever, right? And I could potentially, hopefully, maybe get a similar sound, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Not potentially, hopefully. Right, okay. You can.
Yeah, hopefully you can, right? And let's say, for argument's sake, you can.
Yeah.
Right? But I can just go, bang, done.
Sure. But then I can go bang done in plugins and do certain things that will take a million years in analog. Not a million years, but
I'm not saying that's not true. A prime example being like something like Soothe. If you had Soothe trying to do that in the analog domain, you'd be like this.
Oh yeah,
it can't be done.
No.
So that's why when originally I said, digital versus analog. No, digital versus analog and digital.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was going to say something so brilliant, and I really can't remember what it is now. It was so valid. I wish I could remember. It will come back to me. It was.
If you can't remember it, it can't have been that valid.
I genuinely can't remember it. But anyway, going back to what I was saying before, I said, it wasn't this, but there's something else that's come to mind. It's like, okay, so you saying, oh, but you don't need to use plugins when you've got the physical analog summing amp, whatever you want to call it, summer. Yeah. But I'm saying, but with certain plugins you can achieve the same thing. Yes, it's subjective, right? It's like saying this. It's like saying vegans, right?
Don't get with this.
No, I'll show you. It's like saying vegans don't get enough B12, right? Whereas meat eaters get all the B12 they want and the vitamin D from their food. So I'm saying, but if you have a B12 supplement, you're going to achieve the same end result of health. So it doesn't matter how you get there, because the final listener, all they care about is what it sounds like. That's what I'm saying. So you're lost for words.
No, I'm not, because
you're speechless.
I've never been speechless.
Oh.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. But one question: if money was no object, whose studio would you have, mine or yours?
Yours. But not necessarily.
Let's end the video there.